What's going on? Welcome to the 2 point conversion off season, sort of not off season, more expanded season, because this time we have the indubious Jay to talk like all sports, not just football, and all other things that we have. Like the Puppy Bowl, which was spectacular yesterday. But first, I'm at Gladys L. Tyler, co-host. Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm well. It's been a while. I
It
missed you.
has. I've missed you too. I can't believe you can't do it with us during the season, during the football season. But okay, we will take it any way we can. We will take you any way we can. As you
Yeah, maybe next, maybe around football season next year, my schedule might free up a little bit. Won't have as much trainings to go in with my new job promotion here. So
see, Jay does big boy stuff. He does man stuff. So he has big responsibilities.
there's nothing more man. There's nothing more manly than talking football 24 years around. That's what we do.
Yeah, that is what we do. But we can talk other stuff like the Puppy Bowl.
Puppy bowl.
Okay, the Puppy Bowl was on yesterday. It was way better than the Super Bowl, mainly because of the ending of the Super Bowl and Philly didn't win. But they had a puppy on there named Lane Hurts. It was the best thing ever. If you guys haven't ever watched the Puppy Bowl, I'm pretty sure you can watch it on Animal Planet. It's rescue puppies, and they bring them in, and they put like bandanas on them. So the blue team is the fluff, and the orange team is the rough. And these dogs, of course, have no idea what they're doing, but they have all these toys, and they pick up a toy, and if they run into the end zone, it's a touchdown. And it's like the greatest thing
Awesome.
ever. It was so awesome. I think it used to be like the dog bowl, but I guess they decided the puppies need more help, so now it's the puppy bowl. And then they have like the viewing room, like the suites, and it's filled with cats who are just watching the puppy bowl. It's the best thing ever. I don't even know why people watch the Super Bowl because, you know,
It kind of sounds like the you remember back in the day the old Budweiser commercials, like they had like the Bud Bowl back in the day,
where the
but they
dogs
just
played
used
the horses, or the horses played each other and the dogs are watching.
no, like a long time ago they used to have like Bud Bowl, and it was like the little like the beers, like they would actually have like a football game, and they'd be in the Super Bowl. So
No,
it's like
that
they
would have been
use
awesome
instead of
too.
doing that, make it alive, give the puppies. Well, actually, so my boys, my wife has this great idea. She's manipulating the boys to clean up their room. And if they clean up their room every day for a month, they're going to get a new puppy.
Yay! A rescue?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
Yay for you. I'm not, because they're 5 and 8. They're not taking care of the dog. That's going to be my puppy. I'm
So you
going to
should get
be
a
the
rescue.
one,
Yeah,
right?
you're
I'm
gonna be
going
a
to be
puppy
the
owner.
one picking up poop and all of that type of stuff. So,
You'll be fine. Puppies are great. Dogs are great. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
yeah, the man.
Yeah, Jeff, the man, the myth, the legend. If you guys don't know Jeff Lambert, you should get on that because he's really, really great. Like he's pretty awesome. He won't tell you that he's pretty awesome, but he is. Um, um, yeah.
That's right. They get in a room and I get a puppy. I think my wife is just kind of like using the boys kind of as a good bargaining
Oh,
tool.
she wants a
She
puppy.
doesn't need to do that. She wants the puppy,
See,
but she's like, yeah, she talks them into getting it, and I'm
tomorrow's
just like,
Valentine's Day. That would be a good.
I got 6 pair of cute eyes just looking at me like,
That would be the
"Please."
excellent Valentine present. Go to the rescue, pick up a puppy. What could be more Valentine-y than that? I can't think of.
the day that you hate.
I do hate it so much. But
Hallmark holiday
oh,
for singles awareness.
Jesus. I know. I'm pretty much anti all holidays actually, except for I do believe that the day after the Super Bowl should be like a holiday because I don't even
And
drink,
it should be
and
a
I had like a Super Bowl hangover. I didn't want to do anything but sleep and watch really bad Netflix teen movies, which I'm concerned that I'm addicted to teen movies right now. I'm way too old.
with normal Super Bowl endings, right?
Yeah.
I guess we're going to talk about that at some point, but
Um, yeah, I guess we should. We probably should. I mean, we started off with the Puppy Bowl, which is, hey, Jamie, which is, the highlight actually of the show. So now we can talk about the Super Bowl, which Who are you pulling for? I know you're a big Rams guy. Who are you pulling for?
I didn't have a horse in that race because my favorite team is the Rams and whoever's playing the 49ers. Sorry, Jeff. Uh, so I just watched the game, right? I was like, I was worried that I wouldn't enjoy the game because it didn't have a villain,
Yeah.
right? I feel like the Super Bowl like thrives when there's a villain. We want to root against Tom Brady. He can't win again. And the hot shot Joe Cool trying to take the championship from our Rams in our house. You know what I mean? There wasn't a villain. How can you hate Jalen Hurts? How can you hate Patrick
I can hate the
Mahomes?
Chiefs.
So
I'm okay.
you can hate the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm so tired. Like, I admire Patrick Mahomes and his talent. I'm just so tired of the narrative of Patrick Mahomes, blah blah blah, and then Travis Kelsey. We're such an underdog. No one believed in us. And hi, Jackie. And I just I
That was a weird rant, all right?
yeah,
That was a
it
weird
was
rant.
a weird rant. And then they go into the locker room, and one of the defensive guys was like, "Yeah, they were telling us we couldn't stop Jalen Hurts. You didn't stop Jalen Hurts. He had 308 yards and 3 touchdowns, dude. You did not stop Jalen
Jalen
Hurts."
Hurts just ran out of time. That's
It was. See, that's what I think that's what bothers me most about that game was that ending. You not even the holding call, the fact that they kind of did a basketball stall instead of just go ahead, make a touchdown, give them a chance to play. It's kind of like the overtime thing. Give them a chance.
They gave him 2 touchdowns, right? The Eagles let them get 2 of them. And I know that all of the people who bet for Jerick McKinnon to get a TD were like,
I
dude,
know.
what are you doing? You almost slid into the end. He almost
He
slid
almost
into
did
the end
slide
zone. He
into the
almost
end zone.
did that right?
Yeah. I had Kenneth Gainwell. So when they called the one back in the first quarter, I was like, and I'm out. So Kenneth Gainwell had a touchdown. They took it away from him. And I was like, now I'm just watching the game for, to see who wins. But it was, I think it was the ending that bothered me. It was the fact that they played that stall game instead of, and I know that, that's what they have to do to win, but it was such a good game up until that point.
It was a very anticlimactic
Yeah.
finish for a great game. I mean, really like a tell of 2 halves, right? The Eagles come out and you're like, there's no way when the way that the Eagles
Oh my
came out that the
God.
Chiefs are going to.
Exactly. It was.
He says, Devontae Smith scores that TD, I win 400. He goes out. Like he kind of lost where he was at for a little bit.
I think he
like,
did.
Where are you
I think he did. I mean, there were a lot.
Can you be more wide open than how he was? I mean, routinely though, he was routinely wide open. I know that the Chiefs secondary was problematic, but goodness, Devontae was open pretty much all night. Jalen Hurts was lighting that team up.
He was.
But the game turned. I feel like there are 3 like huge monstrous plays in that whole game that the Eagles dominated. And then so you got the fumble, right? The first half fumble. That was that scoop 6. What was his name? Brendan Bowden or Nick Bowden. Nick Bowden almost had 2. He almost had 2 defensive touchdowns in that game.
I would have cried a lot because I had Eagles.
That was amazing, right? And so, but even after that, right, you felt like Jalen Hurts was like, I got it. It's going to be all right. And he was outside of that one miscue. Jalen Hurts was flawless in the game. Played an amazing game. And then you come in and it's like Patrick Mahomes right before the half, he rolls his ankle. Everybody's talking about, there it is, right? We're building up the mystique of the great Mahomes, the next GOAT, to come out there. And all he did was, go into the locker room and put on his cape. It seemed like.
See, that's the narrative that drives me crazy because Jalen Hurts outplayed him. I mean, Jalen Hurts outplayed Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Eagles defense got outplayed by Kansas City defense, which was the big surprise of the game. Oh, Zach, you're so sweet. Thanks, but not true. And so the narrative will be, Patrick Mahomes put on his cape, came out, hurt his ankle, played on a bum ankle, and won the game. I think that
in 20 years, right? In 20 years, he's also would have walked 3 miles in the snow with 1 foot. I mean, it's going to be kind of like the same arguments that people have in favor of Michael Jordan, because in 10 years from now, Michael Jordan would have walked on the moon. It's just like this never-ending story that's just building for Mahomes. I mean, but they did, right? They scored on every single possession. in the second
Yeah,
half.
it was sad.
That
I
punt
mean,
return, the punt return by Kadarius Toney. I think that was the moment where fate was like, yeah, I think I like
yeah.
red and yellow, and she put on that red and yellow jersey because
uh,
that one, I felt like, first of all, he should have scored the touchdown. How do you not? How do you do all that and not score the touchdown? It just felt like once that play happened, that okay, this game is really, really shifting in the favor of the Chiefs. And then obviously you get that holding call. Uh, James Bradbury held him. Okay, I'm not going to say he didn't hold him, but I used
here's
to.
here's the thing though. That was the only holding call in the whole entire game. So you're telling me that was like the most egregious hold? Hey Brody. Hey, Brody's a dog, by the way. And just in case you're wondering if dogs can think and why you shouldn't get one, Brody said hi. I'm
The
telling
big
you.
Filowski. Appreciate the compliment, the big Filowski. Jeff may not have won the bet, but we all won tonight with the return of Gladys and Jay. Peace. Love it.
Okay. Yeah, but so the one holding call in the game is going to come in the end of the fourth quarter, and it wasn't an egregious holding call. It was like he tugged on his shirt. He did,
Yeah.
but let him play. You haven't called holding all game, and I refuse to believe that was the only time that it could have been called.
It's like one of those things. Well, first of all, you can literally call holding on every
On
play.
every play.
All right. It's like with basketball, I can call travel pretty much on almost every NBA play. There comes up. I'm not going to say that he didn't hold him, but like you said, it wasn't egregious enough that it's a Super Bowl changing call.
Right.
And yeah, like you said, the ref swallowed the whistle at the start of the game and then coughed it up on the back of that final KC drive. It did feel like that, right? It was kind of like that. What are you doing? To Gladys' point, you haven't called it all game. Now you call it. What's the worst thing? What's the worst thing that happens by not making the call there? Right? The Eagles go ahead and they kick the field goal. I mean, the Chiefs kicked the field goal anyway, which they were playing to do. They weren't trying to score touchdowns because they were marching up and down the field. At that point in time, they were playing it safe. They were going to go ahead and take the 3, go up by 3 with a minute and a half left in the game, and let the Chiefs defense do what they were doing in the second half. They were kind of doing like this weird thing where they weren't really getting to Jalen, but they were kind of flushing him out of the pocket, right? And they were kind of moving him to his left, so if he did have to run, he would have to run, but he couldn't. They were taking the throw because he had to throw across his body. So I don't know if anybody went in and put on the cape, it would be Andy Reid, in my opinion.
Are we not giving enough credit to the enemy though?
We are. I definitely, and I want to shout out Andy for giving him that. Eric Bieniemy just probably coached himself into a head coaching job, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think so.
At least
I think
being one at the top of the list.
He's being looked at for 2 OC positions right now, which
Well
is what he is now. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
they literally scored. They scored 2 touchdowns on the exact same play. They did the little play where Juju comes up and then reverses really, and then they snap it, and Juju walks into the end zone. Like, I can't believe I'm this open. I almost dropped it.
Well, it was Juju. Probably I just dropped it. It's Juju, so
too wide open, not hard enough, right? And then the next time that they scored a touchdown, they did the exact same play on the opposite side of the field to Kadarius Toney, who also looked like, I can't believe I'm this wide open.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles defense definitely let them down at the second half.
They hit R2 play.
But
you ever play Madden? You ever play Madden, Gladys?
I don't. I can't play Madden. I'm really bad at Madden. Like incredibly atrociously bad at Madden. So no.
That's a very underrated joke there by the boss man there. They hit R2. So on Madden you select the play, you hit R2 and it flips it to the other side of the field. Yeah, that's kind of what the Chiefs.
Is that what he's talking about? They hit R2. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. I Madden. No. I'm really bad at all those kind of games. I'm gonna say it. Yeah, it says it. I believe Zach. Like, it's the refs weren't consistent with their calls, and if they were, then I'm not saying the Eagles would have won that game because they really played bad, but I'm saying
The Eagles had a bad half.
they had
The
a bad
Eagles
half.
defense
Yeah,
had a bad half, right?
right. Jalen balled out. Like I don't even know how you can say that Mahomes outplayed him. It I mean, I know you can't give the most valuable player to a losing
Punt
team.
returner.
No, you can get it to a punt returner, but to a losing team. But come on, I mean, Jalen was the most valuable player on that field.
Yeah, in the purest sense of what the MVP should be, right?
Yeah.
The most valuable player in the game was Jalen Hurts. The second most valuable player was probably the field. I
Oh my
felt
God.
that
Yeah.
that field looked really slippery. So the Eagles, um, I mean, how many times did they show like with guys like changing their spikes, had to go to the bigger studs, the seven studs, and right there, and I'm like, goodness, these guys are pulling out seven studs. Are we playing poker now? They couldn't get the edge. They couldn't contain. I mean, they were allowing Mahomes to kind of break contain, and I just don't think that that would have happened had that field been in better condition. I think that the Eagles would have been able to pretty much tee off on him, kind of like how they did in the first half. I mean, he was being hurried a lot,
Yeah, but
and I don't
I
know.
think that I heard that the Eagles were the only ones who changed their cleats. The KC never changed their cleats. Like the Eagles changed theirs. KC had played on that field earlier this year, and they had complained about it. This was the first time the Eagles had played on it. So maybe KC came out with the right cleats because they knew already
They probably
that
knew.
the field was going to
Okay.
be like that slippery. But people were like the Sky Moore when he cut around the corner that one time, and no one touched him. His feet just went out from under him on the cut. It was you could tell it was just ridiculous.
I mean, Jake Elliott almost broke his ankle
Oh,
on a
I
kickoff.
know.
You know.
It's like that's odd. And then the big painting logos had to be slippery too. Like
Yeah.
it was just. I'm just glad I watched the Puppy Bowl because it redeemed everything about Super Bowl Sunday, and it was played over and over again, so I could watch it after the game and go, "Whew,
Well,
a cleanse."
Rihanna didn't give you any reprieve on the Super Bowl.
Um,
It's her fault. She's the one that slowed the Eagles down.
it was a it was a it was a good Super Bowl halftime show. I actually liked the last one with Eminem and Dr. Dre. I like that one
Of
better.
course,
But
of course.
yeah, it was good. I mean, we learned it. I heard someone say it's the largest baby reveal ever in the history of the world, and that's
That's
true.
what it was, right? We're
Exactly.
trying to figure
I
out.
was like,
So I was taught, my mom always taught me, if you don't know, don't ask a woman if she's pregnant. I'm like, I'm looking at my wife and my sister-in-law. I'm like, kind of like, I mean,
well, I
but it's she's not high energy anyway, right? But it looked like she had some extra hormones going on there. I was like,
I just can't believe she went up and down in that thing. Like that was awesome. But yeah,
that was crazy.
I was like, because my sister called and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of her that she's showing like the baby fat." And I was like, I don't think that's baby fat. I think she's pregnant
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Yeah. Only
I've seen
Riri.
baby fat. That was definitely
That was
something's in the
definitely.
oven right
I
there.
am pregnant again, and they were saying
Right.
that all during rehearsals she would wear like no one knew during the rehearsals because she would always wear stuff to cover it. So that was like her baby reveal. It was like
It was because she had the zipper like intentionally showing the baby, with the protruding navel. I
yeah.
agree, Jeff. I feel cheated. She should have just gave us the gender reveal right here. Let's flash out, make the fireworks blue instead of gold. Oh, little boy.
Oh,
Wasted opportunity, Riri. Wasted
it
opportunity.
was a wasted opportunity. But okay, I'm gonna do this, and you guys, anyone who knows me knows I'm really, really bad at this. But here's the thing. I'm going to talk about underdog for a second. Like, I'm just going to slide it into our conversation because you just talked about wasted opportunity. And I play underdog best ball. It's the only best ball I play because I really suck at best ball. Do you play best ball
I've only played it once.
this year?
No, I played it last year. I didn't like it.
So I played underdog best ball for the postseason because I had the like they match up to $100 if you put GF2 in the thing. And I did. And so I had this money. And once you match, you can't take the match money out. You have to play it. So I'm
Yeah.
playing best ball in the postseason and I won money. And if I can win money, anyone can, because I had no friggin' idea what I was doing. I'm not kidding. Like I was playing best ball when you draft, like it's only like a 4-person draft or whatever. And then I'm listening to a podcast after and I'm like, oh, I was supposed to like pick guys that are gonna go on. Like I was picking people that were gonna, win like the first round. And they're like, no, you're supposed to pick people that you think are gonna make it to the Super Bowl. So you have, yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
you get some role players here on the Eagles, on the Chiefs, some
exactly. So I made it to like the third round. So I made money because I made it to the divisional round, and then I had no one because I had Jalen Hurts. I think is all I had, and then I'm playing against guys that had
almost all you needed. So
well, if I played Super Bowl, it would have been all I needed, but I got kicked out before because these guys were playing like Devontae Smith and who the guys playing against. Yeah, Devontae Smith, Travis Kelce, and somebody else. I'm like, oh fuck. So, but if you guys want to play best ball in any sport, it's not just football, it's basketball, it's baseball. I think they do NASCAR, golf. Go to Underdog, put GF2 in your promo code, get matching up to 100, play best ball. I'm telling you, if I can make it to the third round, if I can and not knowing what the hell I'm doing, you guys are golden because I'm pretty sure everyone listening is way better at best ball than I am.
You had to threaten me with a good time. Major on
here. This is gonna make you gonna match your money too. Did you bet? Do you bet on the Super Bowl at all? Did you bet, Jay?
I didn't bet. I took some. No, I didn't make any bets this year. I didn't know who to pick. To be honest, I didn't like the line. I thought that Eagles minus 1.5 was a bit of a trap, but I wasn't ready to bet the Chiefs either.
No prop bets?
So remember when we first before the season start, right? We talked about the Super Bowl futures, right? And I said put some money on the Bengals. I was upset at that because the Bengals came in, they were like getting like 5-1 odds, and so I went and put like $100 on the Bengals. I thought that was a misprint, and damn it, almost got there. Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, that was I was looking at the futures today. They only have they have the lines, but they don't have I play player futures, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. But the prop bets this year, I just learned what an octopus was, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna bet that because I've never heard of it before. So an octopus, for those of you who don't know, is like if a guy scores the touchdown and also scores a 2-point conversion, which Jalen Hurts did.
And wow, yeah, he did do that.
So I got the octopus bet, but that's pretty much the only. I would only bet anything that was a long shot, like it had to be more than plus 500, or I wouldn't, just because there was money in there, and I'm like, I'm not going to bet. I don't bet on anything other than football, so let's just see what happens. So the octopus bet, and then I think I had a 3 touchdown parlay, like Travis Kelce, AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, which was like plus 700, which I was like, that's. I mean,
get you.
You know that Travis Kelce's going to get a touchdown, and you kind of figured Jalen Hurts would get 1. I didn't think he'd get 3. AJ Brown was the weak link in that, but he did get a touchdown, so that was cool.
He scored, right?
Yeah, he scored 1, but he wasn't my first time scorer, but he was an end time scorer, so yeah, it was good. But
I definitely like the in-game bets. I like the in-game props, whatever. I just didn't make any bet. I had a few bets actually. I had some money on Stat Hero. They sent me an email.
What is that?
Like a day before the game. Stat Hero is another kind of like website, kind of like Underdog, whatever. Where what they do is they present their lineup, right, and they'll show you what theirs is, and then you can choose to take that bet and try to go against them, and stuff like that. Just another little one. So the one that they had was they took Devontae Smith. Plus 20 yards receiving over Kelce.
Ooh.
And I took the sucker side of it, and I took the Kelce. I was like, nah, give me Kelce over 100 yards, and it was the other way around. So I didn't win on that one. I did win on the fantasy points of I think it was Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goddard
Yep.
versus Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes. So I won on the fantasy points on that one.
Nice.
Yeah, so I made just about $50 on that. That was fun.
Jalen Hurts, honestly, I feel bad because he played so hard. Like he just was so good, But the narrative is going to be, like you said, Mahomes coming out second half after he hurt his ankle with his like Superman cape on, which is probably why I'm so tired of the Mahomes narrative. I just
It
can't.
was it was it was frustrating. My wife, who doesn't watch a lot of football, well, we're watching that because the game's getting good, right? And so even
Right?
the people who don't watch are like, oh, and then she was like, wait, this is how it ends? I'm like, okay, let's make sure we still talking about football here, right?
That's what I was thinking. What is
This
happening?
is how it ends. Um,
It
well,
was it
it was so
I'm with
it
her.
was so anticlimactic. Yeah, the right call, but the wrong call. I used to ref high school basketball back in the day, and I remember we were at a playoff game, and it was Long Beach Poly. I think it was one of it was either Lakewood or Jordan. So it was a team that they're very familiar with, and it was Lakewood. Lakewood had no business in this game, no business in this game. Poly was better than them, but it was close all throughout, right? And so it's getting down. It's like a couple of seconds left in the game, and Lakewood shoots a three, and Polly fouled him. I didn't call it. I didn't call it. I'm not calling that, right? He missed it. Like, so coach reams me a new one. What? That was a foul. I'm not calling that. Y'all go to overtime. Right? Here's some more time. Y'all figure it out on the court. I'm not calling that. And that's kind of what you
Yeah.
expect to see. I think that refs, you're part of the game too, right? So you have to understand the magnitude of a call that you make or don't make. And it wasn't egregious enough to where it wasn't going to stop the Chiefs from doing what they were trying to do anyway, which was score the field goal, go up by 3, and then hope that that 3-point lead is good enough for the minute and a half. But what
Right.
you did is you gave them a first down, okay, where the Chiefs were able to do that little cheap little, I'm going to go back here and take the knee and just, yeah, you plan to win the game. I get it, but it was such a great game to have end like that. It's just inconsistent. Like I think Zach was talking about, that's the worst ref, is the one that's going to be inconsistent. But then there's other times in Super Bowl where there was an egregious call that was not made, right? Where I think of like the 49ers when they played the Ravens, and that pass interference right in the end zone, which did decide the game. I thought that one should have been called, right? So I don't know.
Well, I think that what the take from all this is that Roger Goodell is a big fat liar and he will say anything to keep his job. Because his statement that this is the best refs I've seen ever, the playoffs pretty much was like, nah, dude, nah, this isn't the best refing job you've ever seen because they kind of sucked. They kind of did. They were inconsistent in
They
their
were
calls,
inconsistent. Yeah.
and that's not what you want in a playoff. It's not even what you want in a regular season, but much less in a playoff game. So the big takeaway I took away was Roger Goodell's a big fat liar, and he's making way too much money. That was my takeaway from the whole season. That's pretty much all I got.
Just this season.
The whole season. My season sucked. My fantasy season sucked. It was really bad. So I'm grasping on straws on everything I can. And the Puppy Bowl. I'm not gonna ever stop talking about the Puppy Bowl.
Puppy Bowl is a saving grace.
Oh my God, those puppies are so cute. They're so cute, and there's always one disabled one that's like the best puppy ever.
They gotta find a disabled one, equality
You
right
just like
here.
put them in. It's the best thing ever. Anyone, everyone, it's the best thing ever. Okay, so I'm gonna let you like lead this conversation because I have no idea. All I know is that Denver was probably one of the losers in the um, NBA free agency, not because of what they did or didn't do, but because of what Phoenix did. So Denver, who came into the free agency with they're the best in the West, and that's no longer the case because stupid Kevin Durant.
Yeah, deadline, right? So,
Yeah.
well, if you listen to Rob Pelinka pre-agency which is what he wanted to coin it as. But yeah, Denver definitely came up a little short in that one.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you ever play like fantasy, right? And I always feel like the team that's always stacked, they're not looking over their shoulders, they're not worried about nobody. That team's often in trouble because they don't make the moves that they need to do, right? So they just kind of sit on the team. I don't need to make any moves, and then you get this team that comes out of nowhere because they can't win any other way, and then they just go and they just make a crap load of trades. And I think that that's what happened with the Suns, where you get, out of nowhere. Kevin Durant's been flirting with the Suns for a while, though. I wouldn't say that one came out of left field per se. He's been flirting with them for a while, but I saw like this. There was this meme, was like this YouTube video. This creator comes out and he's talking about LeBron James, and he's going through the whole emotion thing from LeBron, breaking the record. Shout out Bron for a past first player becoming the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. For all of you haters out there, LeBron is also number 4 in assists all time. So don't at me. But if you want to at me, I'm ready to go. So he's on there and he's talking about, that, and he gets this phone call and the Lakers are in the locker room. And the phone call comes in and Russ has been traded, right? And he's like, what? Russ has been traded? But I mean, man, they traded Russ. Right? And so Russ is in the back and he's like, man, F all of y'all. I don't want to be here. Fans, F this team. I'm out of here, deuces. So he's like, how you really feel, right? So later on, LeBron's playing the game. He's talking to Anthony Davis. LeBron's playing 2K. And he's like, yo, man, this new team that we got, we looking nice. And AD's like, hey, man, you here? Woj bomb. I was like, what? It was like KD. He was like, where he going? Where he going? Back, he went to 76 or something like, somewhere like that back. He's like, nah, he came to Phoenix. He was like, what? And he was like, all right. He's like, what'd they give up? They had to give up Ayton and Booker, right? Or, at least CP3. And it was like, nah, they gave up some picks. And LeBron, and he's like, what? He was like, man, that's his 3rd super team. I think I'm Thanos. I beat that man one time, and it was crazy. I was expecting, and then Draymond Green was talking about how, yeah, they gave up the picks, but really, because they were able to keep Booker and Ayton, and Draymond's point is that they actually still have picks because at any given time, unless those dudes just fall off the face of a planet, you can trade one of those players if it doesn't work out to get back in the picks. So KD coming to the Suns definitely probably makes them the favorite to coming out of the West. How can it not? When you have, the floor general, Chris Paul, you have Devin Booker, being able to keep Booker and Ayton and adding KD to that mix. Yeah, they don't have a lot of depth like that anymore, but I just think that it's hard to beat. I think that the Lakers did a pretty good job. I'm proud of the Lakers because for the last couple of years, the Lakers have been just kind of going on this, we're just going to pay for superstars thing. And that's just not how you win in the NBA anymore. You got to have players that, can put together a solid team. So having D'Angelo Russell come back, to the Lakers with Malik Beasley and Vanderbilt, and even the Rui trade a couple of weeks prior, puts the Lakers in a good position. Dallas came up pretty good with Kyrie Irving, which is an interesting mix there. Kyrie Irving and Luka there, but I never saw that coming with KD going to the Suns. I know that he was talking about it, but I didn't see how it was going to happen without them giving up Booker. And they made it very clear that they didn't want to do that. And I don't know what the Nets are doing. I don't know what's the Nets owner, Joe Tsai. Is that his name?
I have no idea.
Joe Tsai?
I have no idea. Anyone else know? I have no idea. I just know that the Nets, they're set for like next year or the year before. I mean, with all the picks they got acquired. And I mean, Kyrie wasn't happy there, and neither was Durant once Kyrie left. So emotionally, they're better off. I don't know if that's any help, but you know what I mean? I mean, it's not as toxic. It doesn't appear to be as toxic as it was. So
it's just a tough sell. It's a tough sell to the Nets fans, right? Where you're like, KD, Kyrie. Oh, now we have Spencer Dinwiddie and Ben Simmons.
Yeah, but they had KD and Kyrie last year. I mean,
Did
Not
they
like they want
really? Did they really? Kyrie Irving missed what 40? He missed 40% of his games since he's been
yeah,
in there.
because of the COVID thing, you mean? Because of him not
But between
taking
that and just injuries, and then Kevin Durant, so they didn't really. If you really look at just the totality of that time together, they didn't really have a lot of time on the floor together. Even with before this trade happened, where the Nets were starting to get a little hot, and then Kevin Durant gets hurt, and now it's just the Kyrie show. So the Nets never really got a chance to see what that looked like having KD and Kyrie, on the same team. And both of those dudes are some weird guys when it comes to just socially. Like I think that they're affected by a lot of things that they shouldn't be for being the caliber of players that they are. So maybe KD needs to be in a place like Phoenix where he could kind of it's not the big bright lights of being in New York.
well, I
Um,
mean, I I I think that's part of it. Like I think a lot of other players besides Kyrie didn't get the vaccination, right? So they weren't in the spotlight like Kyrie was. And of course, he says shit that he shouldn't say, and he does shit that he shouldn't do. But I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks that both of them, like Dallas, I think Dallas is a good place for Kyrie. I mean,
yeah.
it's not he doesn't have that constant light on him, and if he's going to say something stupid, it's probably just going to go out into the universe and no one's going to notice because it's Dallas, it's
It's
not New
Dallas.
York. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is good for both of them. I mean, I agree with you. I think I, I think they just Kyrie for one is too um not too like LeBron James straddles the ability to implicate himself in social justice movements and not appear outside the norm with it. Do you know what I mean? Like he is able to at least be socially responsible, and that's something that the people.
LeBron is aware he may make some mistakes, right? But he's aware of. I think the whole thing with the decision has taught LeBron how to react. Things where LeBron is aware of the implications and the consequences of the things that he says and does, and so he's calculated in what he does say and do. If LeBron James is saying something, that's what he really feels. That whole thing with China, that's what he really felt. We messing
Yeah,
with his money, by coming out there. That's
right.
that's what LeBron James felt. The whole thing when he went at Laura Ingraham and the whole shut up and dribble thing. That's what
Yeah.
LeBron James felt. Okay, so he's very aware of what he says and does, and he's very calculated when he does it. Kyrie seems to be one thing I always felt about Kyrie Irving is that he always kind of comes off as a guy that has to be the smartest guy in the room, right? Like, dude, we get it. You're intelligent. You're brilliant, but stop with this whole flat Earth stuff. And then, and you can say what you want, right? The whole thing with the book and the video and Amazon and yeah,
Mhm.
you got a point, right? No one really Jeff Bezos, nobody's firing him, doing all this type of stuff, but you know how that goes, right? What is the message that you're saying, especially a as a black man, right? When you start talking about the idea of promoting justice and promoting equity and equality, there are just certain things that even as a black man, even as a black person, that you can't venture off into,
Right.
as well. And Kyrie did recklessly, even if he was speaking truth. You got to know your platform. You got to know the impact that what you have says, and that's going to be problematic.
Well,
And the league came down hard on him.
did they? I mean, maybe. I just think that he doesn't read the room well, and I think you're right.
Right,
And I think the guys that try to come off as the smartest people in the room never come off as the smartest people in the room because
right.
you're trying too hard. I always think when I think of that, remember when they did the NFL draft COVID, and so we got all these. We got to see Jerry Jones's yacht because that's where he was doing the draft from, and Cliff Kingsbury. That image is always a lasting image of him in the house trying way too hard to look way too cool. This foot up on the desk, and we can see this great house that he's in. You're trying too hard. Quit trying so
Yeah.
hard. Like, scale it back a little. I mean,
Scale it back.
scale.
Play
Yeah,
ball.
just. I mean, I'm not of that. I think that if you have that platform, you should use it as much as you think, but read the fucking room. I mean, you can't.
Especially when not reading the room is costing you millions and millions of
Yes,
dollars, right? LeBron
exactly.
James fails to read the room. Okay, what? I'm a billionaire. Kyrie, you're trying to a major contract extension. You're trying to convince a team in which you haven't played the last four. You haven't only played 60% of your games in the last 2 years. That you're worthy of a $200+ million multi-year deal. Nah, son, it don't work like that. You got to be a smarter businessman when you're talking about that. And that's why when the talk was coming about the Lakers, I was like, no, I don't really want that. I love the talent. I love Kyrie's talent, but I don't necessarily like what comes along with Kyrie Irving, where you get to the point of is this, and I think that's where the Nets finally got to, is what he brings outside of basketball worth what he puts on the floor. And the Nets said no. And they said no so much that they just wanted him off of that team so bad that they were just, oh yeah, we'll take Spencer Dinwiddie back and Finney Smith.
Just make him go. Just put him in
Just make him
Dallas.
go.
Just make him
Yeah.
go. And let's talk about real quick, or not real quick, but did you watch the women's basketball game yesterday, South Carolina and
I
LSU?
watched a good portion of it. Strategic, right?
Ooh,
NC2A got it right, put in a little bit before Super Bowl. I thought that
yeah. Except it was at the same time the Puppy Bowl was. So
yeah,
I was
well, almost perfect, right?
almost perfect. Yeah. But all right. South Carolina. Okay, first let me just say shout out to Don Staley wearing the Cunningham jersey instead of that was awesome. But she is like a Philly girl. So South Carolina is so dominant right now. They're like the Connecticut of what, decade
Yeah,
ago?
the Gino A. I can never say his
Yeah.
last. They have those. Well, they've been number one for like what 33 straight weeks
Yeah.
on polls here.
Yeah. Undefeated.
Yeah,
Undefeated. And they played LSU, who was also undefeated. And they made them look like
that was two totally different undefeated teams.
exactly. Exactly. All cards
So
on the
here's the
table.
thing, right? So the thing is, right? South Carolina, first of all, LSU, they're not the same type of club as
No.
South Carolina is, but nobody is, right? In a game where South Carolina didn't play that great, I mean, they beat this team that was supposed to be like, okay, we're coming for you. I mean, it wasn't even close. But I do think that if that game's played on a neutral, I think that the atmosphere kind of got LSU a little bit. They're a little bit younger. I don't know if they were quite ready for what they walked into. Bright lights, big game, hype. You got, Aaliyah Boston coming out with the
Oof.
crown, you know what I mean, all
Yeah.
that type of stuff on here. And right off the bat, right, you see a Don Staley team characteristic, right? They're going to try to jump on you early. They want to take you out early. It just was a bad thing right from the beginning. Angel, right? Angel picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter because
Yeah.
she sat for a lot of the first half in foul trouble. And then when she came back in, she wasn't in. Already got 2 fouls like early. So even in a game where it wasn't your typical dominant Aaliyah Boston game, LSU just didn't have the horses to keep up with that team. South Carolina is just amazing. Don Staley's amazing. In
She
my
is.
opinion, one of the greatest female basketball players that I've ever seen, and also turning into an outstanding coach, as well. Yeah, I just don't see how LSU wins that game in that environment. But in a neutral site, I do think that LSU, I do think that they have a chance in a neutral site in that game. Once they started to settle in, once they settle down a little bit, because you know how it is, right? When you're that hyped up, you got all of this emotion, you're exhausted right before the game starts. Next thing you know, you're down early 13-3, and then you come back in, but now Angel's in foul trouble. What do you do? I think that team is close. I think that team's coming, and I think that they can make it a little bit closer on a neutral site. But South Carolina plays South Carolina ball, right? They're gonna dog you out on the rebounds. What was it, like almost a 2-1 advantage, 43 to, I don't even remember what it was, 45 to 25, in terms of rebounds in favor of South Carolina. So they force you into bad shots. You get one shot, and it's going to be a bad one. And then because they're going to get the rebound, and that's just what that's how South Carolina plays.
Well, I mean, to your point, LSU did try to come back in the end, in the second half, and they held them. It's like 66% of their shots, but I still think in a neutral site, South Carolina's gonna. I just the two bigs inside that South Carolina has. I haven't seen a team that could match that. That's going to match those two bigs inside, and if they get hot on the outside,
Which they did, right? They shot
yeah,
almost 60% from the field.
yeah.
So
The first half they were shooting like 88%. It was ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So
Everything they shot was going in.
yeah, it's just amazing to me that they're that good. I mean, last year they were good. They were really good. But this year it seems like they're, and I don't want to, I feel like I'm disrespecting them if I say they're like Gino Auriemma, Connecticut, like 10 years ago good. But that's what they remind me of. Like, no one's going to beat them. You watch them play and you're like, no one is even going to.
LSU has the best chance, and they were 20 points away.
They dropped like to 5.
Yeah. They got good. LSU got good guard play. I mean, LSU, South Carolina got good guard play too. You're talking about the bigs, but Zia was giving them that business.
They're just like Dawn Staley. If you didn't know she was from Philly, you would know she's from Philly. Like just watching when she played, and now when she coaches, and that's what her team plays like. They play like they're from Philly. They play like they are going to hit you hard and hit you fast, and they're not going to stop no matter what. Like, I don't care if they're up 20, I don't care if they're down 20, they're coming at you, and you should be prepared for that. Yeah. And I love it. I am here for all of it.
It's weird, right, for me with women's basketball, because I'm much more inclined to watch the NCAA women over the WNBA.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is for me. It is just what it is for me. But yeah, Scar, they're not going to lose. I don't see a path. I don't see how. They're just.
And I love it.
They check too many boxes.
Yeah. I love it. I don't care. I will still watch them play and beat teams like during the tournament. I'm all in for it. I'm all in for them smothering teams and not losing a game. I just love it. But as far as the WNBA, did you see where they are investigating the Las Vegas team for
collusion?
Sort of. They think that they were paying players under the table. So the the Las Vegas team that won the WNBA last year is now being investigated for, they didn't call it collusion, improprieties for making underhanded deals and paying players under the table or offering to pay them. Well, I mean, they don't get paid that much anyway. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I'm like, was the highest paid player in the WNBA is like making like some random dude in the NBA makes more than the highest paid player in the WNBA.
Yes, that's true. And it's ridiculous. So I'm okay with them paying people under the table. I mean, how else? That's why Griner was playing in Russia, because they aren't making the money here. So in their off season, they have to go overseas and play. And the guys don't have to do that.
Yeah. That's a tough one, right? That's the uphill fight for the WNBA. For one, so is it a young league, a league where it's like they should be, further along than where they are, financially? The WNBA has been around for what, 30 years now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it. It looks like, at least in the games I've seen, like you, I don't watch the WNBA that much, but it looks like that they have at least 3/4 the arenas are full. You know what I mean? I don't know. They're not maybe getting the sponsorships or whatever that is allowing them to excel money wise.
Lower the rims to 9 feet. The WNBA's popularity will skyrocket.
Really?
Lower, yeah, because then now you got the players that can come out there, and nobody wants to see. There's like this, like Kyrie Irving, right? He's like, somebody said this joke that, the Nets said they traded away somebody and they got Dr. Sebi with a layup package. Nobody wants to watch layups. That's what the WNBA is. Now you got a couple of players that can actually dunk on the 10-foot rim, but I think that's where the excitement is. The WNBA has a problem though. They have a branding problem because it's who's going to watch the games, right? So they're targeting the very specific community, the LB,
Yeah.
the alphabet community. No disrespect to anybody from that community. I just don't know all of the acronyms there. They're targeting that, okay, and that community does support them. But unless you start to get the men who watch the NBA to actually come in and really really spend their money at WNBA games, it's going to be a struggle because you can only go so far on a very niche community. Women who are not part of that community, they're not going to the games. You know what I mean? So that's the only community that they're really really catering to. A solution will be to kind of have it be a double dip where the NBA truly adopts these teams as, sister franchises, where if you buy a Laker game, you get the Sparks game, you know what I mean, and have the NBA share some of that revenue with them. The NBA can kick down some money a little bit, I think. I think they can do a little bit more to support the WNBA. I really
I,
do believe that.
I think that was like one of the greatest things about Kobe is that he was a
He was
huge
an ambassador for it, yeah.
for the WNBA, and they like you see John Morant a couple times at the games, and um, oh, Steph Curry goes to a couple games, but for the most part, they're going to college games. They're going to see the NCAA girls play. They're not going. They're sort of taking your stance. They're not watching the WNBA. They're watching, their alma maters play, which is fine. I mean, any support the women can get in any avenue is great, but if you're starting to have to pay your players under the table so they'll come and play for you, I think that's a problem. I think that that's a huge problem for everyone. But anyway,
I mean, damn, but that squad now though, my goodness.
it's it's pretty impressive what they, especially with the Bird, yeah, retiring, and they've got a really solid squad. But if they break them up because of this little thing, then what are they going to do? I mean, who do you discipline? Do you discipline the team? Do you discipline the players who took the money? Do you discipline the owner?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to take the players away. They're already having enough trouble getting people into the arena as it is. So you're going to take away your star players.
I mean, they got a lot of stars though.
They do have a lot of stars on
For those of
that
you guys don't know, like Candace Parker just joined the
team. Yeah.
Aces. Okay.
Like,
Kelsey Plum joined the A. Like you were talking about, if you don't know the WNBA players, like the five players that you do know that in the WNBA,
are on the
they're
Aces.
probably on the Aces.
Which is sad. But, it is what it is. If you're going to, Vegas can afford to pay him under the table, I guess. I don't know who owns Vegas.
If there's one city that can pay you under the
It's
table,
going to
huh?
be Las Vegas. They're going to be able to do it.
Here, take some of this sucker Eagles money right here, because we're gonna have our GOAT debate on Patrick
Oh
Mahomes.
my
And
God. Did you watch the Pro Bowl?
no, I heard it was awful.
Josh Jacobs said it was awful. I personally like the dodgeball game because it was weirdly entertaining. Like they had the AFC offense against defense to see who would play the NFC's offense against defense winner, and the defensive guys were like going for the head. They were like taking out people in the stands because they were throwing the ball so hard. And I learned that Saquon Barkley is probably one of the most competitive people I've ever seen. Like even on his own team, he was uber competitive, and I'm here for that. but he was,
Shout
yeah.
out to Saquon making it through a season healthy, returning those elite RB1
Ooh,
stats.
he
I was a big Saquon truther out there.
the only thing that
Got
saved
paid
me
off
in
pretty
one
good
league.
right
The only thing that saved me in one league was Saquon Barkley, and then of course it didn't save me enough. But whatever. Do you think he's going to stay with the Giants?
now. Where else is he going? I do think that he's going to stay with the Giants. I think that they showed him enough to where the Giants didn't look that far away from me. Where I will question the Giants though is be careful with this thinking that Daniel Jones is your guy. If I were the Giants, I'd cash in on that right now. Where okay, he's actually a capable NFL quarterback. There are teams that will rather pay for a little bit of certainty over the uncertainty and coming into the draft. I don't think that Daniel Jones is your guy. I think he was your guy right now. And I think that if the Giants are going to get serious, while you have Saquon there, I don't think that you can stay committed to Daniel Jones.
Ooh.
I just
So
don't.
who do you think they should see? I don't know if I agree with that, but who do you think? You think they should go for someone in the draft, or do you think they should go for another one of the free agents? You got what? Jones, Garoppolo, Geno Smith. Um,
Lamar
yeah,
Jackson. Go ahead and say it.
no, I'm not gonna say it. Lamar's not going anywhere. He's gonna stay and torment the Steelers for the rest of his life. There's no way. I couldn't see Lamar in New York anyway. I don't know why. I don't.
I definitely
You
could.
could? The
Yeah.
Giants?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, no. I can't. I can't. They don't have this. Well, I mean, neither do the Baltimore Ravens. They don't have the wide receivers. They don't have like a Mark Andrews to bail them out. I don't think so. Darius Slayton maybe, but isn't he a free agent too? So no, 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 no. I can't go for it. I can't. I can't.
Okay.
I just can't. Oh,
Now the Pro Bowl is awful though, Gladys. I can't remember the last time that we
they
watched the
played
Pro
flag
Bowl.
football. It was
I heard.
spectacular. It was spectacular. No one cared. No one. I mean, they played flag football when they weren't playing flag football. You know what I mean? When they were supposed to be tackling, and
Right.
they were playing flag football anyway. So just play. And the funniest thing I heard was that I don't know if it was the commissioner who said it, but someone said the idea for flag football came from Russell Wilson. Like he suggested they play flag.
Oh my goodness. That explains it all.
That is exactly what I was thinking. That the idea to play flag
Did he think of that? Did he think of that in his corner office in the Broncos facility? If Sean Payton can't fix Russell Wilson, then we know we going back to the Legion of Boom and we're gonna apologize to all of them. Pete Carroll, you are the quarterback whisperer. I'm sorry. Good. I've never seen a quarterback fall from grace. Like, and he wasn't even really grace, but just like you're out there, like, dude, like I can't tell you how many times you have like people like circling. This guy's wide open. That guy's wide open.
He was. I fell for it. Like I was preseason
Yeah,
content.
you were big.
I was
You were
big on
big
Russell
on
Wilson
Russ.
and the Broncos
Yeah.
going because I mean you had all the pieces. You had the two wide receivers. You had the good running back before he left. You had the two great tight ends. Your defense was stout. There was no
Yeah.
reason that they should have been as bad as they were. I mean,
You can say coaching, right? But there were games where you was like watching Russell and you were like,
where is he throwing it to? Who was he throwing it to? Exactly.
Yeah, it
No.
was.
And out here in Denver too, living out here, like even though you know you're secretly going, oh my God, this is great because you're a Steeler fan, it's so pathetically bad. It's just. And speaking of someone who doesn't read the room well, like the Subway commercial that he did.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that? You should see it if you hadn't seen it. Subway. How bad do you have to be that Subway takes a sandwich that you're named on out of market?
Out of market.
That's like so bad. You're so bad. I don't. Yeah, Sean Payton's already said what he like. They were asking him some of the things that he was like, no, I've never heard of a quarterback having his own personal people on the field.
That's
That's
just
not going to
that's just
happen.
ridiculous. That's one way to endear. That's the Bucks didn't even do that for Tom Brady.
Right.
You know what I
You
mean? It's
know,
like
you're Russell Wilson. You won one Super Bowl and you frigged up the other one. Come
right.
on. Someone said that they think that he's gotten to a point now where he's more interested in being a celebrity than being a great quarterback. Like,
Which is such an incredible switch from what he used to be, right?
yeah,
Like he was like the I mean, he's always been corny. He's always been the Carlton
yeah,
of
of football.
quarterbacks. But at least you think like, man, it was a good guy, competitive, and now he just comes off like this prima donna.
Ugh.
The one time when they were talking about when they were on the flight, the plane, and he's like, oh yeah, I was doing push-ups and the
Exactly. Stretches in the aisle.
stretches in the
Stop.
aisle. Just kind of
Just
like,
like,
what is this
stop.
guy? Is he gonna start doing bench presses
Stop.
in his driveway now?
I, just stop. Yeah, that's someone who really, his PR team has to absolutely suck or else he just can't read the room. Let's ride. And he kept doing it. And I
I mean,
just,
I guess if you stuck, well, you gotta stick with it, right? He was like, yeah, that's right. That's right. We still riding. That's
it
right.
was all right. Let's do it. If true, if Sean Payton can't, I
No
would
one
be
can.
surprised if he doesn't bring in another quarterback like of equal caliber. Or I mean,
He's
that's
already said that he believes that he can that Russell Wilson is still a good quarterback.
yeah, of course
So
he's going to
I
say
think
that.
I think Sean's coming in. Sean is he's coming in with a little bit of the Gatorade, there as well. They're giving him the savior, stuff too. Denver just throwing darts.
They are.
But it was a mistake. The coaching hire was a mistake anyway. Last year, the trade was a mistake.
Ooh, the
Um,
trade was a huge mistake.
it was a
Before he
huge
played,
mistake
you're going to give him all that? That's crazy.
because it was a mistake in the sense of why you made it to begin with. You believed that you were a Russell Wilson away from winning the Super Bowl, and you weren't. And that was the biggest problem there, right? They reached for it, and it's
Luckily,
unnecessary.
they got money to burn with
Apparently,
their new owners. Oh yeah, they got nothing but money to burn out here. So, and that's what they're doing. They're literally burning money. They're literally just like going, let's try this now. Let's see what happens. Let's try this. I'm kind of interested. They don't have the cap for free agency to make like crazy splashes, but I'm kind of interested to see what they do in the off season.
I mean, we were legit talking about how I remember coming into the season, right? We were legit talking about how Derek Carr was like the worst quarterback in the division,
I
right?
know.
We were having debates over Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson, and then you got Justin Herbert right there. Um,
He was
good.
so bad. So bad. It was so bad. All right. So, we've been on for an hour. All right. It has been a pleasure. It has truly been a pleasure. I have missed you all season. I can't believe you didn't want to come on with us on Mondays.
You know what? I watched all of the episodes though. I was still a fan.
Thank
I
you.
was still a fan.
Thank you. We always a fan of yours. Again, everyone, Zach and Jeff and Jamie and Kelly and Boomer. God, I'm thinking it was Boomer that Kelly's dogs that said hi. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to us. Next week it will be the Kyle show, who he refused to tell me the name of the show when I asked him today. I guess I was supposed to know it. I can't remember what it was, but Kyle will be on where he does his wonderful interviews with people. I'm pretty sure he's going to be on earlier than we are because he's in Canada. But listen to Kyle next week. Tomorrow, the guys from oh shit, I forgot the name of the show already. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. But every week, Going for Two has you covered, even in the off season, for shows that you should listen to. Speak on It. Thank you, brain. The guys from Speak on It will be on Tuesday. Wednesday is Jeff's Armchair Fantasy Show. Thursday is the Dynasty Gambit, and I'm not really sure what's on Friday. It used to be the B League doing prop bets, but I don't think he's doing prop bets on anything that's not football. So I'm not sure what the Friday show is going to be. Also on Thursday will be the other show that I co-host with my sister, and it is a show where we will do mock drafts. This week we will be mock drafting music albums. So tune in. I'm so lost. It's the guys from Speak on It are gonna go against me and my sister in mock drafts on music albums. They're gonna obliterate us. So I'm not even worried about it right now. But so tune in on 7 o'clock, same that time, that channel, and then Kyle and then Jay and I will be back in 2 weeks, a week and a half. Yeah, to talk about any topics that are relevant, or just we might talk more about Puppy Bowl. Who knows? It could
I
happen.
might have a puppy by then.
Exactly. That's right. Jay could have a puppy by then. So tune in to see if Jay gets his puppy. And I appreciate everyone who listened and everyone who came on. And Jay, I mostly appreciate you. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Gladys.
All right. And we will see you guys next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.